All right, parents, thank you all so much for joining us. We want to welcome you to our kindergarten transition meeting. And basically, what that means, as a Title I school, we are required to have these meetings. But what a transition meeting is, I lost the verbiage because it sounds so formal, but we call it kindergarten roundup. And basically, all it is we want to get our pandas ready as well as our parents ready for transition into kindergarten. So thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. On the screen, you'll see our agenda. So we're just going to go over registration, what to expect as far as like their schedules, curriculum, and grading, assessments, discipline, which is very different as in kindergarten as it is in pre-K. So this is a very, very important slide as well. Attendance and parent engagement at home. We have one of our amazing pre-K teachers, Mrs. Gates, who is going to lead this presentation for us. So, Ms. Gates, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Hi, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Miss Gates. I am the grade level chair for pre-K this school year. Um, let's go to the first
So
one.
before we jump in, and if you don't know who I am, I'm your proud principal, Mrs. Wallace. And I want to make sure that everyone knows and hears that we say thank you. And Ms. Gates, this thank you is to you as well. So thank you for leading the presentation. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day with our little ones to share with our parents as they transition. And for those of you who don't know, Ms. Gates has taught kindergarten previously as well. So we thought it would be fitting for her to share the pre-K and kindergarten experiences with you.
Okay. All right. So, first thing we need to do is on registration, and it is online only. If your child is zoned for this school, Um, you just need to make sure you have your updated information sent out. You already will be registered for um, and placed in class for next year. If you're not zoned for your school, for this school, you will have to go to the zone school that you are zoned for, the school that you're zoned for. And make sure that you do need two proofs of residence, which is a lease and a utility bill. We should already have a copy of your birth certificate, social security card. Make sure you have updated eye, ear, and dental. Um, and as well as any public assistance. Well, you don't really need that part. That part's only for pre-K. But you will have to update your residence to make sure that you are continuing to be zoned for this school. So if you're zoned for, there's nothing really you have to do. If you're coming um, from a different school, then you will have to register, and it's all online. Ms. Freeman has put the link online to register in the chat box, and then you would contact Ms. Fornes, who's our data clerk, if you have any other additional questions to make sure that they have received anything. Her email is listed on the slide um, as well. And she also put it in our chat box. Her email is fornesj@fcs fultonschools.org. Um, so like I said, if you're a returning student, there's not much that you have to do. You just have to update your file. But if you're coming from a different school, you will have to update. And remember, if you're not zoned for the school, you have to enroll your child into the school that they are zoned for. Okay. Any questions about that?
None in the chat. And Ms. Gates, if you would say transition to the next slide, I'll know when you're ready to move.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Yes, you can transition to the next slide, please. Thank you. We're ready, please. Okay, so if you have any pre-K, any kids at home that will be 4 years old by September 1st, we are accepting students for pre-K this year. So please, 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 register your child for pre-K. It is very important that your child goes to school as early as possible, especially by the time they get to pre-K, so they can learn how to maneuver in the building, social skills, get a jump start on letters and all of those counting and cognitive skills. So if you know any friends, neighbors, cousins, anybody, please register them for pre-K. And as you're aware, you don't necessarily have to be zoned for this school to go to Brookview for pre-K. You do have to be zoned for kindergarten and up. However, pre-K, as long as you live in the district, you're able to go.
And we have slots.
Yes,
So
we
we have
have
to have available slots. If we do not have available slots, then we go on a waiting list, and it's first come, first serve in terms of if a student withdraws, then we call the next in line on the waiting list.
yes. So please, please, please get that in. Parents, I need everyone to really take heed to this slide right here. This slide is very important. Please update your parent contact information. Anytime that a number has changed or you want to add somebody else on the pickup list, please simply log into the portal, go into campus portal with your personal information and make those updated changes, because there have been so many times in previous years where we can't seem to get in contact with anybody on their list. We all know things happen. However, it is very important and vital that we have updated contact information for everybody. So if your address has changed, if your phone number has changed, if your mailing, anything has changed, please, please, please update your contact information. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma, cousins, godmama, whoever you want to put on that list, please make sure we have updated contact information. That is so important.
And let me be clear, if the person, or let's say you needed someone to pick up, if they're in Infinite Campus and listed under your parent contacts, it's not an issue for us to release those kids. But let's say you have an emergency, a flat tire, you need to send someone else. If you don't have them listed, it's a process for us to approve to release the kid because they're not registered as one of your emergency contacts. So we want to make sure that we make it as easy as possible by you just keeping it updated. Now, another thing that happens though is when life changes,
Hmm.
sometimes parents need to be removed from the list. We want you have that access in your Infinite Campus parent portal. So you want to make sure that you keep it updated. And if numbers change, that we constantly go in, or addresses, and change that as well, so that the school has someone to contact in case there ever is a true emergency.
Please, 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 please. Okay, so let's prepare for our first day of school. We are Miss Freeman, our lovely parent liaison, and her counterparts, Miss Edmond, have made our school website beautiful. So we need some traction. Please go visit our school website. It will tell you everything that you need to know about what supplies they may need, the teachers that we might have, different things we're doing in the classrooms, different videos that we've done previously. So please visit our school website. Um, Make sure you're on the lookout for any possible kindergarten roundup events, PTA and school governance council information. I would love to see more parents in the younger grades in PTA and school governance. I would love to see that. So please look on the website for those different things, teacher websites, summer learning activities, school events, after school programs, all of those things. Um, is what you should prepare for the first day of school, and things that you would actually find on our school website. So please check it out. Ms. Can we play the video for the parents?
Welcome to Brookview Elementary. I am Jovita Wallace, the proud principal of the Pandas. I am so excited that you joined us today, and I just want to share a little bit about our school. First and foremost, Brookview is the best kept secret on the top of the hill. We are nestled in East Point. We are small, family oriented, community service oriented, and we are proud to be pandas. Our mantra is we're great on purpose, which means that greatness is not accidental, it's intentional. We teach our pandas to be leaders, critical thinkers, problem solvers, and ultimately we want them to be productive citizens. We want them to have career options, college options, and we hope that we develop their talents and their passions through opportunities that we offer here at the school. Some of those opportunities are our clubs and our partnerships with community-based organizations. We are partnered with Hands on Atlanta, and we do a program called Discovery, where our kids can come and experience their STEM related challenges. They can do social emotional learning and wellness. We partner with Kenny Leon's theater group, and we are developing future artists, painters, dancers, actors, actresses. We offer various clubs and organizations: Curly Girl Club, Cooking Club, our Beyond the Book animation clubs, Chorus, Art Club, and much more. STREAM, which is science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and math. Our goal again is to offer opportunities for our kids to develop their passions and their purpose because we are great on purpose. So I want to show you or share a little bit of our building with you, and I hope that you enjoy this tour. Well, each day our kindergarten through fifth grade students participate in special area instruction. This is a variation to their traditional English, language arts, math, social studies, and science. Our students participate in 45 minutes of either the Media Center, STREAM, which is science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and math, art, or music. These specials are daily, and again, that's a 45-minute break that they get from the traditional day. So let's look at our Media Center. Let's take a look at our STREAM lab. That's our science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and math lab. In here, our students are agents of STREAM and they get to think creatively and use engineering concepts to build as well as tie in literacy. Let's take a look at our cafeteria. Our cafeteria staff works diligently to serve delicious hot meals for our students and families during our school events. We often use the cafeteria as a meeting location for curriculum nights, Saturday enrichment, and school-wide performances. What school wouldn't be perfect without a gym? This is Brookview's gym. We have a blast here. So check us out. Thank you for taking a quick tour of our school. We are looking forward to an amazing school year. As the proud leader of the Panda family, I want to welcome you to our school community and encourage you to become actively engaged as a school stakeholder and partner at Brookview, where we are great on purpose.
So in that video, it showed the different specials that the students will attend. That will be new for our pre-K students who attend right now. They don't have specials, so they are aware who the special teachers are. However, they do not attend specials. So that will be something fun for the students to look forward to in the upcoming months for next school year. Please join us on our Brookview website, our YouTube channel. We have a Brookview Class Dojo. We have a Twitter, and we also have an Instagram account.
I'm
So
gonna tag
please
in with you right here, Miss Gates, if that's okay.
go ahead.
Brookview, guys, it like we are lit. Do you see this? We are social media connected and we post regularly. While Mrs. Wallace said we're the best kept secret on the hill, we don't want to be a secret anymore. We want people to know who we are because we are a proud school. We are proud of our students. We are proud of our teachers. We are proud of our accomplishments. And we want the world to know, yes, Brookview is on the hill, but you're going to know our name. So you can connect with us on any of these platforms. Brookview has an amazing YouTube channel. We have where we share our parent meetings, such as this one. They're all recorded and uploaded. Our student awards day programs are recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Our teachers sometimes do tutorials, and I also share with us how to access Infinite Campus. We did a whole parent workshop on that, and I shared that link as well. So please make sure you're checking out these resources. They're amazing, honestly. And for a school to be able to do all of these reach all these social media outlets, we believe in parent engagement, excuse me, and communication. Communication is our number one thing at Brookview. So you're going to see my name a lot. Once again, I'm Tamika Freeman. I will blow you up on your phone, text messages, emails, um, phone calls. Mrs. Wallace, you're going to see our names a lot. So go ahead and get used to it. I'm giving you a heads up now. Go ahead and be prepared because we like our parents to be informed. We communicate frequently and constantly. So just wanted to throw that out there. I'm sorry, Miss Gates had to put our little plug in. I
And
apologize.
I want to echo, I'm sorry, the walkie talkies are going crazy right now. But I want to echo the fact too, don't block the school. So yes, we send a lot of messages, but that's to keep you informed. But also in case of emergencies, if the school is blocked and we have to do an emergency evacuation or our power goes out, it could be anything that happens. I want to be able to communicate as quickly as I can with every parent. So it is imperative that you make sure that you do not block the school and that you are able to be assessed, like that we're able to contact you. We need you assessed.
Mhm.
So I just want to put that out there because that's key. And I think a lot of times parents are like, oh, that's another message, another message. And think about it in this regard. It might not be a message for you because you're informed, but for the other parent that may not be as informed, we have to keep sending it out to make sure we reach all 600 parents. Or well, I'm sorry, 600 students' parents. So I just want to put that out there in the atmosphere, so that everyone understands the reason and the rationality as well.
Okay, so parents, let's begin teaching health and safety at home. Practice wearing a mask, if applicable, washing hands, playing safely, and teaching independence, whether it be to open their own milk cartons, to open their own silverware, at, at this point, if they get it, they should be able to open it. So unless they have some, other reason why they cannot. So please practice if you getting them juice cartons at home, if you're gonna send them a Capri Sun, practice them poking that hole with the straw. So that they can get used to being by them opening things because in reality when they come next school year, their teacher only sits with them for 2 weeks. And then after that 2 weeks in that cafeteria, they are with a monitor who has to monitor all the students in the cafeteria. So they won't have anyone there really to open all the milks and all the snacks that they may bring for lunch. So please practice doing those things as well as cleaning up after themselves after they eat or working with or working on activities. It's very important to teach those self-help skills. We have been doing that in class, but continue doing that in the summer because we all know that kids tend to get forgetful and seem to don't remember things that they've done months before. So over the summer, please continue to practice those
I,
things as well.
I'm a tag here too. Please go ahead and start teaching them how to tie their shoes.
Hmm.
Because they travel to multiple classes and they also like in pre-K they kind of get marched everywhere and they have two at a time. So at some point in kindergarten there are two people in the room. However, if the kindergarten teacher's assistant has to go to cafeteria duty, the teacher might be on their own, and so it with the 20 kids in the room or the 19, and so our kids need to be as independent as possible for the little stuff. And that might not be a big deal to you guys in terms of the shoe time. So imagine a teacher having to transport them from the front of the building to the gym in the back of the building, and you have one little friend that needs their shoe tied in the middle of the line. It holds up, it makes that transition a little bit more challenging. So if you could help us out with that, that would be wonderful, because that is a big hurdle we go through in the beginning of kindergarten, big time.
Tie your shoes. So, a day in the life of a Brookview kindergarten student, they will, when they first walk in the building, they will get their breakfast. They will go to eat their breakfast in their classrooms, and then they will, once they finish, they will go to stations where it will be an RTI or I ready or I read I ready math and I ready reading. They will log into ClassLink to do those things. They will have their phonics. They'll have reading, they'll have writing, they'll have math, they'll have social studies and or science. They will have a lunch in the cafeteria where they will only have between 30 minutes max to eat their lunch. Please practice with them in that time frame to eat their lunch within those 30 minutes, because once 30 minutes is up, they have to move on to the next class. So they have to be done with their lunch. They don't get to take it back to their classroom to finish it, and all of that. So please practice with them being able to complete their meal within those 30 minutes. That's why when they go in the cafeteria, typically for the first 10 minutes, it's a silent cafeteria until so that they are able to finish their lunch. Then they can be on a level one, which is a whisper. So please continue to practice with them that they will have specials at some part of the day. Parents, there are no naps. There are absolutely no naps in kindergarten. So please be mindful of your child's bedtime. If you know that they come to school really sleepy or groggy, we might need to move their bedtime up a little earlier so that they can be able to focus in the classroom. I know currently our kids look forward to that nap, but it's gonna go away. So we might want to start winging them off of that in the summer as well, so that they are able to go from 7 until pretty much 3 o'clock without a nap. So that might be something, if you know your child is one of those people that needs a nap, uh, we might need to start winging them off of that, so that they can be adequately prepared um, for all the different things that they have to do. Students should be potty trained when they come. Please, if you have not started that, please work on that. And please bring change of clothes if you know your child has
Thank you,
accident.
Miss Gates. I was just about to say really quickly, guys. I'm so sorry, Miss Gates. Accidents happen. It's not just babies, like accidents happen. So you
Mm-hmm.
may just want to go ahead and continue to pack an extra pair of clothing in your student's book bag. Being in kindergarten, that's perfectly okay. Nobody will know they're in there. Just put them in a little baggie. But it would be advisable just to have them an extra set of clothes in their book bag just in case. And it may not even be a toileting accident. They go on the playground, slips and falls, mud, water. So
Milk spilling.
milk spilling. Thank you, Miss
Milk
Mm-hmm.
Gates.
spill is
So
big one in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
just might want to put an extra pair of clothes so we're not having to call you to come bring your baby clothes. So I'm sorry, Miss Gates, just wanted to add that one in there.
I
Yes,
also want
please.
to kind of echo parents too. Be mindful of the belts that you guys put the kids in. A lot of time they can't get them loose.
Mm-hmm.
And so we end up having to problem solve really quickly to help them to get to the restroom. Please don't put those complicated belts, the ones you have to loop through and then loop back through. Those are really, really tough for little hands and little fingers when they have to go to the restroom on their own. So these are small things that will help and help us help your babies.
Right. That's exactly right. So, and also teach them too, if they haven't quite mastered the tying of the shoe, tuck their laces. Tuck your laces. Because typically they tie the shoes in the morning and they tie the shoes in the afternoon before they go. So if your child has on shoes that typically tend to get untied a lot, um, so teach them to tuck their laces. Okay. So this is
Temporarily,
actually,
and then teach them how to tie their shoes.
yeah, please work on teaching them how to tie their shoes though, because it's hard, especially when you have 20 kids in a classroom. Once one person says they have to tie their shoes, then it's a line. It's always a line. When one person wants to do something, then everybody else wants to do it too or needs to do it. So this is a actual kindergarten schedule.
And I
And
can
as
go
you,
with this if you're okay with that.
yeah, go for it.
Okay. So this is actually a kindergarten schedule pre-COVID, and now we are out of the pandemic. So this is typically what our normal day looks like. So this is what our kindergartners are doing right now. We start off with our morning routine. We go through our social emotional learning, where they talk about their feelings, and we talk to them about coping skills, and we do that first thing, and then we jump into our response to intervention, which is the time where we need our kids at school. So one of my things that I'm going to share here is you have to get your kids to school on time, because during that RTI block, at 7:45, we are really doing intentional teaching to match your students or child's deficits. So during response to intervention, we hone in on reading and math. And let's say a kid is struggling with identifying letters. That is the time where that teacher will literally work on just that skill for that group of kids that have that same deficit or that same issue. Does everyone understand that? So that's important. And then also, because we have RTI in the morning, and that will be what we'll be resuming for the fall, I need everyone to understand that that's missed instruction. And so their kids not getting to school on time, which is a huge problem for pre-K currently. It will be an educational impact, and the educational impact means that there are then issues or consequences that come along with it, because that's instructional time being missed. And that's when we have to institute tardy policies, and then we have to get a little harsher with those consequences about absences. So parents, kindergarten is not like pre-K. And pre-K is something where attendance is still looked at, but it's not as heavily handled on the discipline side for parents. But when you get to kindergarten, that is a real deal. Your attendance counts and truly counts for all things instruction, and any educational impact is on the parent. So I want to just be very clear about that. So then we go through the ELA block. So ELA is your English language arts. That will be where they have their phonics. That's when they have their reading and comprehension strategies being taught. That's when they'll learn about, they'll go to small group instruction. So the big difference from pre-K to kinder, pre-K does station rotations where they get to do independent playing with their blocks and their water and their dramatic play, which is awesome, because pre-K is teaching the socialization of school. Kindergarten is teaching instruction. So these small groups are instructional based. So you might have your teacher working with you on reading comprehension, while your teacher's assistant is working with those kids on sight words, while another group of students is working at the computer on iReady or iRead, and and then another group of students is working independently on a skill. So all rotations are instructional based. It's not about play and socializing. It's about learning, because we teach our kindergartners are readers when they leave kindergarten. So that's a really big transition for parents and students. I want to keep that in focus. Again, we talked about specials, so they'll go to music, art, PE, STEM, or media, and they'll have a daily schedule where they go. So that means that's an additional teacher that your child has to learn, has to follow their rules, and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to. And then they do math, and math has whole group. We start with a whole group, and then we do small group math as well, where they break into centers, and they're all instructional based. You'll have lunch break, they go to recess, and there's a writing block. They will intentionally learn to write. And then we will go also social studies or science, and those are usually alternating weeks. So let's say week 1 is social studies, then week 2 could possibly be science, because they flip flop depending on the length of the units and the content. And then they might have to work independently on already for their drop everything and read time, or they might be reading with Mayan, or beginning to read, and tracking their little words with their left to right progressions. So it's a huge difference from pre-K to kindergarten. Any questions there?
And I'm gonna steal Miss Wallace's saying. If you're curious what Mayan is, it's amazing. Like she always says, it's Netflix for books.
And
Mm-hmm.
so kindergarten, they have access to Mayan. So your kids will have a tech tool that gives them access to thousands of books for them to read at their leisure. It has the text to read, like it can read it to them, or they can read it, and then it will link for the upcoming school year to accelerated reader, where they'll take little quizzes and earn prizes for meeting their goals from reading those books. So
Mm-hmm.
again, we are really, really pushing the needle for our kindergartners to be readers, little writers.
Yes. Yes, we are. And we as a team have also been trying to tell, the pre-K students now things are different when they go to kindergarten. So in the next couple of weeks, we will take them to see a kindergarten class to see what it looks like, maybe let them see what it feels like to sit there for a little while to see what they do and what they don't have so they can see the difference. Um, so we be on the lookout for that. So these are some expectations that in literacy and math. And these are some great things like if you want to take a picture of this slide, this will be great for something that you might want to work on with your child in the summer to make sure that they can do or start to do some of these things. And these are the things that we've also been working on in school for this year. Um, when you read a book, ask them questions. Can they ask and can they answer questions about key details of a story? Read retelling familiar stories, identifying the main ideas. We've been working on identifying the characters, the settings, what happened first, middle, and last. So if they can do all of those things, they have a jump start. Um, Being able to follow the words from left to right, and tell you where the front of the book is, the top, the bottom of the page, identifying where the page number is in the book, um, reading common high frequency sight words. I know that we've been working on sight words for a while. Continue to do that with your children. Identify and write upper and lower case letters and recognize and produce rhyming words. If you see a word, ask them what it rhymes with. What rhymes with this word? Most of them should be able to do that. Count, pronounce, segment, and blend syllables in spoken words, um, as well as using combinations of drawing and dictation to narrate events. Count to 100 by ones and tens. Count forward. If you give them a number of five, what comes after five? And count from there. If you give them 10, what comes after that? And count from there. Counting one-to-one correspondence. And I know sometimes parents might not understand what this means, but if you lay some toys out at home that they have them point and count to each one of them to see how high that they can count and understand that the amount of manipulatives in front of them is equal to the number that they counted. Compose and decompose numbers 11 to 19 into tens and ones. That will be new for them. Write numbers 0 to 20. Identify, analyze, and compare and create a square, the circle, the triangle, 2 and 3D shapes. Being able to identify them and being able to make them. Um, Classify and categorize objects based on physical attributes, meaning the size. Can they sort them by the size, the shape, uh, the color, any of those things? Being able to tell me why is it different? What makes this one different and what makes them the same? And solving simple addition and subtraction problems within the number 10. Um, and then if they can do that, push it higher because some of them can do that within 10. So if you know that your child can do that, make it to 15 and then gradually increase it. For science and social studies, sorting objects based on physical attributes, just what we just said, investigating relationships between shapes and objects. Is it flat? Why is it flat? Is this round? Why is it round? Day and night, physical attributes of rocks and soils. Um, Identify the national holidays, identify the national state flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, the Statue of Liberty. Some things that I have listed are things that we have started to do. So kindergarten will piggyback on it and expand it a little bit more. Um, Identify community helpers. What is a community helper? What do they do? Why do we call them that? Please work on them identifying like what state they live in, what city they live in, um, what country or county do they live in. Those are the types of things that they will work on in kindergarten. So you practicing with them over the summer will give them a great jump start. Any questions? Okay, next slide, please. So how can you help us? Um, how can you how can you
I'll
help us?
take over this one because I see you being it's a lot of distractions going on for
Yes,
all of us. So, parents, here's how you can help. Number one, bring your kids to school every single day. That's my
please.
biggest thing. On time and ready to learn, though. On time, and I'm gonna say that one more time. On time and ready to learn. And do not check them out early because you're checking them out and they're missing instruction.
Mhm.
Unless it is something important. Birthdays are not reasons to check out. Hair appointments are not reasons to check out. So I'm just going to be very transparent here. That's the biggest thing you can do. The next thing you can do is read with your little ones. We with them and to them, and then let them read to you once they become readers.
Mhm.
That's important. It's imperative. And make sure that when you're reading to them, that you're not just letting them listen, you're asking and checking for understanding of what was read. So you will ask the who are the main characters? What happened in the story? What was the problem in the story? Was there a
Mhm.
solution to the problem? What was the resolution? We call it the conflict and the resolution. Where did the story take place? That's the setting. Like you want to make sure that you are using the academic language that the kids are going to hear and that you are able to interact with them with those texts. And don't just read the cute and fun text, right? So a lot
Mhm.
of times we do a lot of literary text, books about people and characters, and then we don't do the informational text. But informational text are what we do as grown-ups. And when we're in college, we're not reading for fun anymore. We're reading for information. And that's about real life topics. So make sure that you do those books too, so that our kids are exposed to both genres. And
Mhm.
again, you have to read every single day. And reading and talking about reading is something that is a non negotiable. It is something that should be happening if you want to ensure that your child's literacy um, and their skills are proficient and that they are able to be successful academically. So we want to keep that in mind and we want to make sure that that is at the forefront.
Yes. And please, I know Principal Wallace has said that several times, but attendance matters. And I know a lot of my parents like to come in at 8 o'clock or 8:15, and we just let you do it. But it's very important. They start bright and early. So when they're here able to eat breakfast with their friends, they are getting their minds ready for that learning. So when 7:45 comes, they're ready to do it. If they're coming in the building at 7:45 and then they still want to eat breakfast and still do all of those things, that's pushing them back and that's missing their very important education. So please get them at 7:10 so they have that opportunity to still eat breakfast with their friends and do all of that, because at 7:45 the socialization aspect is pretty much gone. It's all about learning and focusing. So please, 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 if you know your child likes to eat slow, if you know your child needs that moment to calm themselves down, allow them to come at 7:10 so that they can do all of those things, because when you bring them at 7:45 something's going to get missed.
So I'm going to tag here. I agree with that totally. I also just kind of want to quickly because I want to honor our time and it is already 12:50.
Hmm.
So homework and grading is a big thing in kindergarten. Homework is nightly, Monday through Thursday, and you very well could get a spring break packet. because it's instructional and they are assessed 3 times a year with iReady. We have the beginning of the year iReady that happens in August. We do it again in December, January for the middle of the year, and then we do it again at the end of the year. Like right now, our kindergartners are already testing this week so that we can see their growth and monitor their progress. And so it's important that you do your part and make sure that homework is being done and returned. They also get projects and presentations, and we get grades in kindergarten. And so they will receive S for satisfactory, N for needs improvement, and U for unsatisfactory. And N's and U's in kindergarten oftentimes mean at risk of retention. That means that they are not mastering skills that we have to kind of come back and hone in on. And if we've done interventions through response to intervention and they're still not meeting the mark, then we need to have some different kind of conversations, because at kindergarten we should have S's. So I want every parent to be aware of that, and that means you have to check your parent portal, because in there your grades are in the Infinite Campus Parent Portal, and you have to monitor your kids' progress reports that are being sent home. We're actually getting ready to send progress reports home again next week for all of our students, just so parents are aware. But again, they're pushed out in Infinite Campus.
And they also have a jails as well. The G kids. The G
Yep,
kids.
kids,
That's the
absolutely.
assessment that they will take, which is a Georgia Kindergarten Inventory of Development Skills. And that's ongoing all throughout the year. So some standards might be 6 weeks, some standards might be 9 weeks. And then it's 18, and if I'm not mistaken, it's like 27 weeks or something like that.
Yep.
So that's an assessment that they will take ongoing. Um, a Fontes Sempanel benchmark reading assessment.
May be changing. We have a new literacy curriculum coming in this year for kindergarten. So the BAS may not be our benchmark assessment, but there is a literacy assessment always given to determine the reading levels of our students. So
Right.
again, we want you to just be aware of all the assessments that they're taking. So we know already, we mentioned that, but there are also bi-weekly phonics assessments. Every 2 weeks,
Hmm.
we're testing to see if our kids are learning how to sound out those words.
Math
Also,
assessment.
you have math unit assessments. They have little assessments that happen often, and then weekly exit tickets.
Hmm.
Weekly exit tickets. So, and honestly, in math, we do daily exit tickets. That's to see exit tickets are quick assessments, no more than 2 to 3 questions, sometimes 4 at the max, to see if they whatever the teacher taught that day, did the kids get it? And then that data helps us. If they didn't get it, then I know I need to go back and reteach for the next day, or maybe pull those kids in my small group to work on that skills. So that is essential. Like it is critical that they number again, assessments are big in kindergarten on up for the rest of their academic career, and then the data means something from the assessment.
Hmm.
And so, and it's used to drive our decisions instructionally for kids, which is why we can't be absent when we're assessing either, because that will impact the student's readiness for the upcoming grade level. So now I'm going to jump into the thing that matters big time. In pre-K, they get a lot of little chances to make decisions for their behavior. However, there is a big difference between pre-K discipline and kindergarten through 5th grade discipline. So in pre-K, an immediate suspension can only go for up to 2 days. That is not the case in kindergarten through 5th. It depends on the degree of the severity of the consequence. So for example, if you bring a weapon to school or your kid get into a fight, we can go up to 10 days. We try not to, but we don't ever want to keep a kid out of school that long, but those consequences increase because they are old enough to know the difference between right and wrong and making those choices. And so I want to make sure that everyone understands there are tiers and there's a severity of the behaviors. And in pre-K, no more than 5 days are even allowed for a student to be suspended per child. Again, you heard me say 10 days, like at, they can go up to 10 days. So that's a huge difference. And literally discipline for kindergarten through 5th is based on the infraction. It depends on what the child's done. So for example, if your kid is a chair thrower or has tantrums and falls out on the floor, hollering and screaming in kindergarten, I mean in pre-K, they do that in kindergarten, it can then be seen as a school disruption, which then warrants a consequence of IS in school suspension or out of school suspension as a result. So we want to make sure we break those habits. And the way you learn about this is you look at our school's code of conduct. They're always posted on Fulton County's website. When you register, we go through it in the beginning of the school year. And they're on, I believe it's on our website too. So you really, 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 really want to make sure you're versed because it is different from pre-K through K-5. So we do try to support our little ones though in the kindergarten through fifth grade realm. There's a K2 band that we try our best to do supportive discipline instead of those harsher consequences because they're still young. And they still deserve consequences, but we try our best to do other interventions first. So things like timeout, ISS, in-school suspension versus just sending them home all the time. Things that we can do for those minor offenses are things that we try to do. For example, if you are teasing or taunting somebody, you might have to write an apology letter versus us calling your mom and sending you home. We might do a conference with the student and the parent versus a suspension because you're still small and still learning how to get used to school. However, those consequences go on your record starting in kindergarten. So you want to make sure that that's not something that becomes a frequent trend for your child. Any questions there? And these are pages straight from our code of conduct book. So these are things that it literally looks like this. And you've seen it. Oh, my camera is where? Where is my camera? Here it is. All right. So it goes out every single year and they always have it public on Fulton County's website or school and our school websites. And it literally lists any kind of infraction as well as the discipline that comes as a result. And that is the book that we follow when we're issuing consequences because that is what we're required to do. Now, my other big push, and this is the big one, so I asked to tag on the biggest parts. I've kind of already alluded to it, but when I tell you attendance impacts our babies, it impacts us wholeheartedly. And honestly, if you miss too many days at the elementary level, it impacts your ability to read well by the end of third grade. If you can't read well by third grade, when you get to middle school, you're not passing important courses. And then by the time you get to high school, you are not on track to graduation. So I need you to understand that those deficits really, really impact students. Our goal is that our kids read well by the end of third grade. When they go to middle school, they can pass those courses and possibly start high school courses in middle school so they can get that credit. Go to high school, not only are they on track for graduation, they're starting to take college courses in high school so that when they get to college, some of those classes are already done and it takes less time for them to finish, which means less money for you. So we have a big vision for our kids. And then from there, when they graduate college, they're able to have careers. We want people to have jobs, but we prefer the word career because that means that's something you chose to do and that you're successful at using the skills that you learned to get there. So again, those absences, excused or unexcused, it doesn't matter if they're excused or unexcused, they still hurt the kids. Any time missed from school is too much time. And so when parents want to know how many are too many, 10% of the year. If your kid has missed over 18 days or 2 days a month, because you don't realize that, but just 2 days a month, you've knocked your kid off track already. And so we have to make sure we get them back on track. So again, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because attendance is something that is big. And I wanted you guys to understand that we do have tiers of attendance that our social worker follows with. We have a system now that does automated phone calls for absences. Some of you may have gotten those. That is not through us, that's through the district. They are monitoring attendance and it's really heavily monitored kindergarten through 12th grade. So we want you to be aware of that. So there's tier 1, that's every student should be able to come to school every single day. Tier 2, your kid has three or more unexcused absences, and it goes on and on. And I want you to understand by the time they're at tier 5 with the 15 or more unexcused, we are referring to defects. We are going to refer to the juvenile courts because we are exceeding that and it has an educational impact. So again, I just want you to be aware that these are the processes that are happening. We try before we go to tier 4 and tier 5 though is to do some family interventions first. Let's try to get mom and dad some help to get the kids together so we can get these attendance to improve. And if we can show improvements, then we don't have to move up in those tiers. But when we don't get any support from the parents, when we're doing our part to try to help, then we have to push forward and hold parents accountable for attendance. So I just wanted to make sure that that was at your or in your mind and that you were aware. And we are striving for less than 5. I also want to make sure that truancy is something that parents know happens, and literally that there's a Georgia law. It's called the Georgia Compulsory Attendance Law that requires that after any student accrues 5 days of unexcused absences in a school year, that whoever's in charge can be in violation for that and can be considered truant. And there are fees that can be associated with that if we go to that tier 5 court. We don't want to do that. And these fees are real. It's through the Georgia courts. We don't ever want to get to that point when something we can control as the adults with the power to help the kids be better. So I just want to put that out there, and we want to make sure that everyone is aware because that's the goal, is to get them there. All right, so I'm going to turn it back over for parent engagement.
That would be me. And this is really brief because it's something that we've been preaching all year. But these are words that you're going to hear constantly from now on out. I ready, I ready, I ready, I ready. Seriously, our kids do I ready every day in school, but we also want them to do homework 30 minutes every day, please. Reading and math. If your kid says, oh, I don't have any homework, yes, you do. You always have iReady. You may not have paper pencil homework, but we always, always, always have iReady. And all of these apps are found within the ClassLink app, which you will find out more information about coming up. And like I said, I'm also going to share some parent resources with you all through email. You want to monitor their iReady usage. Yes, it's great that they're getting 5,000 minutes, but how many lessons are they passing? We want at least 80% or higher on each lesson. Read with your child daily. And like Ms. Gates said, have your child read to you daily. Yes, it may be the I can't see, I can't jump. It doesn't matter. They're still reading. So they need to read books on their level to you, and that just strengthens their growth. Please, please, please stay connected. Do not block us. We're going to get on your nerves. I am aware. I'm sorry, but we want to make sure that you are informed. So no one can ever say, well, I didn't know, or I wasn't sure. Or we're going to make sure you know. I promise. So please make sure you're checking your class dojo every day. And you may be registered on school dojo, but please make sure you're on class dojo for your classroom. But we also have a school dojo as well. And I'm going to share all of that information again. Most importantly, and just a most important takeaway, stay connected, stay informed. Please get involved. Next year will be a brand new year again. It's going to be like starting from scratch. Prayerfully, we will be able to, yes, I said prayerfully, I'm sorry, but yes, hopefully we will be able to open our building next year and have our parents back in the building. We have a whole parent, I keep pointing, but we have a parent resource room that I would love to be able to show you all, because during the pandemic, I was still able to get, oh, Miss Gates is in the Parent Resource Center. Thank you, Miss Gates. And over the pandemic, I've been able to get some amazing resources. So my room is fully stocked with items that can be checked out for use at home, can be checked out. Games, manipulative materials, all types of things. So I can't wait till you all can come in and see that, as well as join PTA. We need you. I can't echo that enough. We need you. Our pandas need you. Our teachers need you. We have to do this together. So here is my shameless plug. That's okay, Ms. Wallace. I see you skipping my slide. It's okay. First of all, are there any questions? And we want to honor you all's time. So if you all have any questions later, please email Miss Gates. You can email Mrs. Wallace. You can email myself. You can email Miss Towns. You can email the school. Infinite Campus for your pre-K student. I'm going to also I dropped those instructions in the chat. They're a little bit farther up, but I'm going to share all of these resources with you, Mr. and Miss Whitley. Please don't worry. I'm going to share a whole packet of resources with all of that information. I'm going to email it to you all, prayerfully, but hopefully before the week is over. You're very welcome. Now, I need you guys to do a favor for me. As I stated, we are a Title I school. We are mandated by the state of Georgia to have these parent meetings and transition meetings. And basically, the survey just wants to know, how effective was it? Was it good? Is it something we left out? Is it something that you want to see more of? And there's going to be a drop down menu. We're going to share that link in the chat. There's going to be a drop down menu. You're going to choose transition meeting. So we call it kindergarten roundup, but what it is on the survey is a transition meeting. So this is very important for our school because we want to make sure we're following state laws and guidelines, and we want to make sure that we're providing quality workshops for our parents. So if you all would please, it takes less than 3 minutes. I promise. It's very quick and simple to do our survey. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you all do not have any questions, or if you think of anything, once again, please feel free to contact us at any time. With that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. Wallace. Thank you all again for your for joining us this afternoon. Thank you again.
And Freeman, will you drop that evaluation link? Because I can't tell if that's underscore 2122. But if you'll drop it in the chat for people. Thank you so much, parents, for being here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Ms. Gates, for presenting with us and co-facilitating. If there are no further questions after she drops this in the chat, please make sure that you complete that evaluation for us, and then you are free to log off. So we have your QR, which makes it even easier. You can scan that right from the camera from your phone, and you have the link there.
Thank you, parents. Thank you all so much. You all are free to log